How nice was it to see Eric have the game he had the other day?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, obviously he prepared really well last week and it showed up on Saturday. And for him to create a couple of explosive plays within our offense, obviously that's a thing we've been missing the last few weeks. And it was good to see and gave him a little bit of confidence going into this next week starting conference play.
He was telling us before the season, he wants to be more than just the deep guy. And, while obviously you still do run him in a lot of go routes, there were, a few out routes, I think a hook route I saw, just kind of what have you seen about him improving his route running?
Yeah, I think it all stems off those vertical routes too. The better you're at those vertical routes, the intermediate, the shorter routes become a heck of a lot easier for you. And obviously Eric's done a nice job with the deeper routes, and it's helped him get open in some of those intermediate and shorter routes. It's having the forward shoulder lean, selling the vertical route, and snap that off.
Having him now kind of be your leading receiver, just how cool has that been to see him kind of break out early this season?
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm super proud of the guy just for how much he's grown off the field. I mean, he's such a joyful guy to be around, and especially, how he grew up and how he's continued to grow as a young man. It's been awesome for him to have some success on the football field, and that brings joy to your heart.
Matt, you know what it's like to be the young guy chasing down all the vets in the room and the old guy with the young guys chasing you down. How is Billy Bowen's kind of handling that this season, in your opinion? It feels like everybody can't wait to put somebody else in for him.
Yeah, no, Billy's doing a nice job, and Billy, I think Billy, for the things that people don't see, is his leadership behind the scenes. And he's one of those guys on the sidelines of practice and meetings in the weight room that when things aren't going our way, he's the first guy to say something and get us back on track. So his value to this organization and that wide receiver room is invaluable. I'm super happy with the role he's taken along that leadership role, and he's going to continue to grow too. And I was really excited to see him, get that catch last weekend too. He had to drop earlier, made a catch. He responded with a positive play, and I think it's going to give him the confidence he needs moving forward.
How is that when you have a sixth-year senior like that, and there's younger guys pushing him, but obviously people forget Billy had a really nice season last year too, and it's been a couple of games. So what's that like as a coach trying to weigh when to maybe give more reps to somebody else and stick with the veteran knowing what he's done in the past too?
Yeah, I think that's just a friendly competition we have within that room, right? And it's fun for us. We got to practice. You're in routes on air, and who runs a route better? Well, that guy who runs a route better and routes on air is going to get in the game. And create that competition, it's very black and white. There's no gray involved, right? So you'll watch the rep in practice, like, all right, well, you ran really good in routes on air. Well, you're going to do the same thing on Saturday. And I think that competition piece helps spreading out some of those personnel groups and getting guys involved in different ways and really highlight what they do well is something that we're really trying to get done.
You'd say, especially on Twitter, you want your guys to be frisbee catching dogs. How would you assess how they've done at that over 3 games?
Inconsistent. Yeah, inconsistent. And I think honestly, the ones that are easy ones, the layups, right? The ones that aren't, in my opinion, like the ones that are really challenging to make. And sometimes, honestly, those are the hardest ones because they're routine catches. But it always goes back to your fundamentals and techniques. And our eye control over the first couple of games in terms of those drops, our eyes were in the wrong spot. So it's not like we got to put some secret potion on it to get it fixed. It's just going back and training your fundamentals better and get those eyes in the right spot and have that deep discipline to have your eyes located on the tip of that football.
Prince got his first collegiate catch last week. What's his trajectory for the rest of the year?
Yeah, super excited to see Prince make a play out there. Like a nice vertical route, back shoulder ball, and I think he's going to be on a similar path as Eric McAllister was last year. Eric got involved a little bit earlier in the season, got some confidence, started playing a little bit more confidently out there, playing faster. He came to work every single day in the meetings, in the weight room, in his preparation. I think Prince is on that same type of path. And I'm excited to see where he goes because he works his tail off, and for him to have a taste of success on Saturday, that's going to be huge for that kid's success.
I know you're not big on social media, but Prince is the guy that fans, think should be starting and getting every ball thrown to him. We see the one-on-one clips in practice and stuff, and it's impressive. But what I guess, he's a freshman, obviously, and there's a lot more to it than that. So what is what's holding him back, at this point from getting more of those reps?
Yeah, I think some of it too is like, he played, I think 23 snaps this last game, so it was about a third of the game, and so some of those snaps, the ball doesn't go your way. That's part of playing receiver, right? You run every route like you're going to get the ball. And then obviously in the practice periods, it's like it goes back to that competition piece we were talking earlier. So if you go compete your butt off in those practice reps, you're going to get more opportunities in the game. I think Prince will get more of those opportunities the more he gets that confidence built in practice, and as well as other guys maybe getting that confidence in other areas and be able to spread the ball around. That's the fun part about an offense guy. There's one ball, a lot of playmakers to go affect the game, how we piece it together through the course of the week, and how we want to implement that game plan to go execute on Saturdays with who's affecting the game with the ball in their hands.
The behind the scenes stuff, like knowing the playbook and all that. He said yesterday, he thinks he has a pretty good knowledge of the playbook. That's not, where the other stuff that fans don't see and stuff. Where is he on working and stuff behind the scenes?
Yeah, I think Prince is continuing to grow, right? Developmental program continuing to grow. He hasn't been here that long. Right? I think sometimes it's how he carries himself. It's like he's been here for like 14 years. He's only been here less than a year, right? And so there's always growing pains with guys in their first year of college, let alone playing college football. And some of those things being able to manage, and in terms of your preparation, and being able to go play fast with confidence through that preparation. I think that's something we all got to grow in. Us as coaches, us as the players, and obviously putting all together on that Saturday afternoon, Friday night, whenever we play, to go execute at full speed.
How much does the defense dictate where the ball goes based on what they're doing?
Yeah, a lot of it's dictated on the defense, right? Sometimes a different coverage. Maybe we were planning all week for this coverage on this play. Well, guess what? They ran a different coverage. Well, obviously we have answers built into our scheme that the ball's got to go somewhere else. And so, we can't predict the future as coaches. We try to do it the best we can, but and try to put guys in the right spot. But in the day, that's why we say it doesn't matter. You might not get the ball all week in practice on that given play, but you're gonna get the ball on the game day. And so run every route full speed like you anticipate getting the ball, and usually get things coming your way.
Taylon seemed to be much better on Saturday, just in terms of his consistency and then also completing passes. What did you see? What growth did you see from him against North Dakota?
Yeah, I think he's playing within himself, giving what the defense, taking what the defense gives him. Not trying to press, not trying to do it all by himself. And I thought we had a really good plan as a staff through the entire offense of how we get him going early with some easy completions and get the ball in space with guys on the perimeter and kind of soften defense up, hopefully help the run game a little bit, lighten the load in the box, and get the one-on-one opportunities on the outside. We saw what Eric McAllister was able to do and Prince Strong was able to do with a one-on-one on the outside. And so I thought they did a really good job executing the game plan. Obviously, we'd like to take away the 3 turnovers and start the second half. I think it's a different game, but those guys did a really good job executing the game plan that we laid out for them.
With all the progress that Eric's made from last season to this season, and the build, the speed, everything he brings to the table, what's the next step for him to grow into the wide receiver he could become? Yeah,
I think it's staying on the same path that he's on right now. It's not being satisfied with having a nice game on Saturday. It's like, hey, awesome job, proud of you, super excited for you, but can you do it again this week? Well, that starts with the Tuesday practice, the Wednesday practice, how the Thursday walkthrough goes, how you go out there Friday night and prepare yourself the same way you did last week. That consistency piece in terms of being efficient with how you operate every single day, that's going to be the biggest step for him and really for a lot of guys, in this program. It's just, hey, you got to taste the success, but now can we repeat it the next week? Let's just keep stacking days on top of each other.
San Diego State is second in the country in interceptions. They already have 8. As wide receivers, how do you guys make it easier for the quarterback to mitigate those turnovers?
Yeah, attacking the ball in the air, and I'll say this though: San Diego State, they do a great job of ball hawking on the back end. I mean, there's a reason why they're that high in the country. They do a great job in the back end. They do a great job causing some havoc there on the front defensive line, getting in the quarterback's face and forcing the quarterback to make poor decisions. And so it's a credit to those guys for doing a nice job. But for us as receivers, the ball's in the air. It's the mentality piece that the ball's ours. You gotta go get it. That's where that frisbee catching dog thing comes into. I go play tennis ball, or throw a frisbee with my dog, throw a tennis ball with my dog. I mean, it's like nobody's taking that ball from him, right? Unless it's my daughter. Other than that, like that ball is his, and that's gonna be the same mentality that our guys got to have when they're playing football.
What's your dog's name?
Rudy.
What is it about that Aztec position, or how they kind of have that unique defensive style there that for all these years now teams are trying to copy off them a lot and stuff, but what is it that makes it just in game so hard to kind of figure out what they're doing?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for these guys is how hard they play, and in terms of their identity and their scheme, they do it really, really well. I mean, they've done it for a long time. It's kind of like that triple option of the defense, right? It's kind of a little uniqueness to it, but they do it at a high level, and they obviously, at the end of the day, they got good players too, right? So they got good players operating in their system, playing their tails off with a lot of passion and effort. If you got that with any defense, obviously it's going to be a really good defense.
We've seen Chase catch a couple passes. Shay's been out there for a couple snaps. Are there any guys kind of right on the brink to you of really contributing?
Yeah, I think both Chase and Shay. Shay's been doing a nice job he probably doesn't get noticed a lot in the pass game, but in the run game, he's blocking his butt off. He leads the group with knockdown blocks, and that doesn't go unnoticed within the coaching staff. And I'm super excited to see him continue to take those next steps. And Chase, he's been money clutching a couple third downs for us, and goes in there and does his job at a high level. And I can continue to see him grow as well. He's another guy who's younger, but carries himself like he's 35 years old. And so it's just a nice problem to have in the receiving group. You have a younger guy who's very mature.
I know you're trying to go 1-0 Friday, but as a former player here, how big of a deal is conference play and just trying to win the conference title. And you guys have 2 in the last 8 years.
Right. No, I think it is one day at a time. Right. Right now, I'm focused on our Wednesday, even though it's Tuesday. I'm focused on our Wednesday process of what we got to get done today, and having really good meetings tonight, and clean up practice from this morning, getting things ready to go for tomorrow's walkthrough practice, and kind of continue that prep. Right. The hay's never in the barn, so we're going to continue to work and give our guys the best opportunity on Friday night to go put their best foot forward and ultimately go win the game.
When you have a short week like this, what changes? Like, how are you going to? I guess, are you not able to make as many adjustments? What changes, I guess, in that approach?
I probably get less sleep. Other than that, nothing changes. Right? Nothing changes. Our same approach takes it. Our process, we're going to stick to our process, and we're going to be very meticulous and detailed with our preparation, and leave no stone unturned, and give the best plan to our guys when they come into the meetings on that Tuesday morning. So they can go execute that plan and then continue the day with more situational football and move forward into the weekend.
How often do former players contact you and want to know what's going on with the program, good, bad, whatever? How often do you keep in touch with the old guys?
All the time, but I'll say this about those guys: when we're talking, honestly, it's usually about our families.
Yeah.
Talking about families, we're catching up. They don't want to know some of that stuff. They just want to know how I'm doing and how my wife's doing, my daughter's doing, and that's why I love those guys. That's why this brotherhood's really special, because at the end of the day, it's about the people, right? The people that were part of this thing, and I was very fortunate to have a lot of good friends who still, obviously, must still like me a little bit. They're still talking to me.
With the Friday night game, will you guys go out Saturday to recruit, or do you get to spend a little extra time to get a head start on Memphis? Or?
I haven't looked that far in the schedule, if I'm being honest with you. I'm literally going to go into this offensive meeting, and that's probably where maybe catch a shower first, but that's probably where I'm at in my day.
Anything else? Thanks, y'all.
Did you recruit Eric?